All right, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started. We're trying to be right on time to honor your time, and we want to welcome our group here. I'm Jenny Swim, and I'll be hosting us to begin with. We'll be joined by Natalie Goddard in a couple of minutes. Welcome to our over 150 viewers online. We're so glad you could join us, and we hope this can really serve you today. To get started, we're just going to give you some updates as we get close to convention. Have you heard of the Global Summit? Everyone know about the Global Summit coming up? That's a fantastic opportunity for you and your team. It's on September 13th, Tuesday, here in Salt Lake area at the Southtown Convention Center. You can sign up on sharesuccess.com, and there are various promotions running right now. I know even at Oil Life, if you purchase a certain amount, you get a 10% or a $10 off discount code. So check that out at sharesuccess.com and definitely get you and your teams there. It'll be worth your time. Fantastic leaders from around the world converging to share the best about building your business. So that's fantastic and exciting. For my local audience, make sure you all have handouts, right? I think everyone's got one. And we've got our tickets here for a drawing we're going to do. Let's see, so we're going to get started. So many of you know about Essential Emotions curriculum. We introduced it last year at convention, and we've had fantastic feedback about how it served people. You know, the number one health concern for most people right now is actually their mental and emotional health and wellness. So we are really excited about this tool to help people find answers to that number one concern. When you're going to a class, I don't know if you've had that experience where you walk in, you ask them about their health concerns, and invariably I get anxious feelings, low mood, distracted, whatever those things may be. That's what I get as typically the top concerns for those I'm teaching. So we're so glad to provide this for you today. Just as you're starting at home, we have a Facebook group page. Are any of you on that group page right now? Okay, the reason this is so great is because the 5 of us who are the authors of this curriculum don't have all the answers, but the people on this group page do. There are some fantastic leaders in the fields of mental and emotional health professionals that are members of this group. We post as well. It's just a great way to ask questions, to send those who are coming to your classes who maybe want a little bit more information. So it's just Essential Emotions Training. You can just plug them into this and they'll find additional support there. So send them that way. And then we're really excited to give you a little sneak peek announcement too, that we now have a website that is up and running. So we've had some feedback that sometimes it's hard to find our free downloads on that Facebook group page. So you can also send people to essentialemotions.org. That is up and live now. You actually can't purchase materials on this site, but you can find your favorite company that sells anything having to do with oils, and they can get our product through that. You can download the handouts if you'd like to teach these for free. It's typically less expensive for you to just purchase a pack with printing because we do such bulk orders that we actually get a discount. But if you had to just send it to someone to look at, just download it here. You can look at the videos. So we had feedback that people wanted to see kind of some videos or have training before they taught the class. You're welcome to download those here. We even have for our Australia and New Zealand friends, we have an Australia version as well for your teams with all of the updated tools that they can get with the Australian pricing. So we're excited to share that with you today. I think that's all I have. So today we're going to welcome those who are brand new to oils. Okay, so many of you may be joining because someone recommended you to come learn about oils and how they could support you emotionally. And some of you are looking for help in teaching this class. And some of you are thinking, I might want to build my business actually with this class, addressing that number one health concern and grow my business. So today I'm so excited that we get to hear from Natalie Goddard. A lot of you are really excited to hear from her today. Natalie, I'm going to welcome her to the front. She's going to start us out today. Natalie is the mother of 7 children, if you can believe it. And she's a double diamond in doTERRA. She's an incredible leader. Her passion is to help each individual person to become who they were created to be, to speak their truth and to share with the world. So she is passionate about this topic. She walks this walk. She is beautiful outside and inside. And I'm so grateful that she gets to kick us off today in sharing essential emotions with you.
Thank you, Jenny. And I'm so grateful to be partnered with such amazing people on, is that my clicker?
It's your clicker.
Thank you. On this topic that I'm so passionate about. If you are here, if you're listening to this message, you know the value of understanding and lifting and increasing our emotional health. Just in the past few weeks, it feels like there's new waves, that it's coming with more intensity, whether it's natural disasters and what's happened in our world and handling that, or, life happens, doesn't it? And it brings emotion. And when we understand what to do when that emotion comes our way, then we are empowered and we can help others. When we don't, we're victims, right? And we just might be annihilated with everything else that got flooded. So I'm so grateful that we have this understanding and that we can explore this together. So my question for you today is, how many of you would like to be more happy, connected, and empowered? That's a really noble goal, right? We all want that. We want to be more of that. And today we're going to cover 3 main areas. You're going to understand the science behind emotion, the tools and habits so you can keep that body chemistry healthy, and some practical steps that you can take right now, knowing that, to up-level your emotional wellness, okay? I love this topic because I can use real words. I need to remember. I'm like, okay, I don't have to be super compliant. This is perfect.
We're real here.
Yes. Emotions we can talk about so much, without making any health claims or anything else. And it's so relevant to our world. So feel free as you're sharing about emotions, make sure you're sharing from the heart and real things that are real for you and real in the world of the people that you're teaching. This first concept, I think, is so basic, but it's something that sometimes gets overlooked. We are created as a whole. We have body, mind, and spirit. And those 3 parts of us, they don't get disconnected, right? We get to take time and think about each of those areas as we nourish them, right? If we leave out one, we're going to feel it. If we leave out another, all of these come together to bring this wellness. And when we nourish body, mind, and spirit, that's what we're going to get, is wellness, okay? So now we're going to dive a little bit deeper, okay? So we talked about big picture. Now go all the way down to a little cell. Think about the cells in your body. They were made to be whole. And they have several processes, right? That when a cell is harmed, what happens? It either repairs itself, right? It gets what it needs so it can repair itself, or it dies, okay? That cell dies. So there's this natural process of what happens in the cell. These cells are intelligent, and they either repair, or they let go and start again, right? We create all these whole new set of cells. So remembering you're wired to be healthy and well. I like this pile because it looks like a whole bunch of cells if you really think about it, right? And all of our real wealth is who we are, right? Have you experienced people that don't have emotional, physical, or mind, body, and spirit health? They're not very wealthy in any way, right? When I'm hurting, I feel, I want something more, right? I don't feel like I have this incredible gift. So going back to this opportunity that each of us have to claim wellness. And it really is that we have to choose it for ourselves. It starts out on the cellular level, and you are the only one that can do that for you, right? Can anybody else they can be a cheerleader, but you've got to be your own best advocate and claim your emotional health. You know, as I was driving here today, I was thinking about what I've thought about emotions all throughout my life. I think when I was younger, I thought, well, emotions, if you just stuff them, then they'll go away, right? Anybody else ever believed that, right? So I only had to become a teenager before they started spurting out, and I thought, that's not working. That doesn't work. But when we understand these next things about emotion, and we work with emotion, we just unlock this powerful, powerful gift within each of us. And I love this. So, what is emotion? What is emotion? So, emotion is actually not just this thing we talk about, are you sad or are you happy, right? It actually is happening to our cells. Emotion is like a little information-carrying peptide, right? That leaves our brain and travels throughout our body. And we process emotion all throughout our body, okay? So information carrying, what do you think? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what kind of information is being carried? Sometimes it's that we're sad, right? I'm feeling this sadness. Whatever information your brain needs to deliver, that's what is traveling as this little molecule of emotion throughout your body. And these little molecules come to your cells, and they bind to and start reacting with your cells, right? So emotion affects what's happening inside your cell, the function and processes of your cell. And guess what that does? It starts adding up. It starts showing up, okay? Because that little message got delivered there. And it starts affecting how you feel overall, right? How fast can you feel that? When you get a phone call that is, that little information-carrying peptide, it takes off, it goes and binds to cells, it delivers a message, and you're feeling it. It impacts what's happening on a cellular level, and it impacts what's happening overall, because you're processing that emotion in 3 different parts of your body, okay? Researchers now call it the 3 brains. And these are really, and there's complex neural pathways that connect these 3 brains. And it's so amazing because now some of the things that we didn't understand for so long start making sense, right? Your brain, what does your brain do? It's your first brain, and it's your first, I guess it is the three brains, so it is your first brain. Your mind, it is kind of like the conductor. It helps, kind of oversee things, right? When we look at the mind, sometimes we refer to it as logic and intellect. The subconscious mind directs over 90% of our behavior. It's a pretty big percentage. And that's kind of automatic, right? Without even thinking about it. That's our subconscious. So the mind is our conductor. The heart, it's kind of like our discerner, right? The heart acts as the discerning influence here. And often we refer to it as intuition. And I love this, that they found out through research, that there's more neural pathways from the heart to the mind than from the mind to the heart. So we kind of interpret and discern, and then we send a message back up to our mind about what we intuitively feel. Okay? You following me? And then we have the gut, right? And a lot of times we talk about the gut as your gut feeling. What do you feel? If you drop into your gut, what are you feeling, right? 90% of the body's serotonin that's involved in mood management is produced in the gut. Isn't that amazing? So these three brains, they're each brilliant and amazing individually. And together, if we learn how to use them and operate with them, it's actually miraculous, right? You can kind of visualize it right here with this image to see how those neural pathways are really, making the rounds from mind, heart, and gut and back around again. Dr. Caroline Leaf, she's a neuropsychologist. She's done so much amazing research in this arena in recent years, and she said the three brains communicate with each other, they feed back to, and therefore influence the mind. So it's this interplay, this interchange. And when we have this happening, and we actually work with emotions, kind of like we talked about, we didn't stuff them, we feel them, we see them, we experience them, and because we've got some tools, right? We don't have to be afraid of emotion or where it's going to take us because we are empowered. We have answers. And that leads us to just connection and wellness. So let's take this concept that we just learned and walk it through an experience, okay? So, can you kind of see what experience this woman's having? Have you ever had that experience? I have. Sometimes it feels like every day starts this way, and then you get to choose which direction you're going to go with it, right? So, she is experiencing some influences on her, some demands, right? That's her life experience right now. And does she even have to think, oh, how should I feel about all of this? Or does she start processing it automatically and instinctively? It just happens instinctively, that she starts processing it and trying to make sense of it all. And this might be how she would respond or start processing. Her mind might start processing and think, I have to figure this out. I gotta figure this out. Her heart might be feeling, I feel overwhelmed, right? Maybe her gut starts feeling stuck. And each of these three brains starts processing what's happening to her, this life experience, okay? So it sent out those messages, right, to all the cells, and now the body starts reacting. Because there's typically a reaction in the body. Sometimes it's pretty fast, sometimes it takes a little bit longer to see that, right? So in her case, she might start feeling some head tension, right? She might start feeling conflicted or tight in her heart. She might start feeling unsettled in her stomach or anxious, right? Physical manifestations of what started out as just this emotion, right? But coming to this cellular level and impacting the body, okay? And if this happens and we're not careful, we can really get disconnected, right? We can not use those amazing neural pathways and not work with the emotion that's coming, but let it get the best of us, right? And that's where I'm super grateful that we have tools, that we understand tools. I think sometimes about my grandmothers and what they might have done when hard things happened to them. I think, what did she do? Did she go out and milk the cow? How did she go with it? She didn't have wild orange, you know. She didn't have peace. I know that we've been given some incredible gifts in our day, and I'm so excited that you get to learn a little bit more about that. Because as Jenny and I toggle back and forth, it affects beliefs, and we have more power over the beliefs that we form than we ever have had before. We have so many tools. We're so very blessed to live in the day that we live, where we can have all this research coming together and gifts of the earth coming from all over the earth. When has there ever been another time where you could draw from all of these gifts of the earth that are coming from all over the earth? Well, that would have been, my grandmother would have thought that was crazy and not possible. And here it is, all within our reach. So oftentimes, we're in that processing place. We start feeling the reaction in our body, and what happens at that point? We can cement in a belief. And that belief can be a weed, right, like you're seeing right here, or it can be a seed of something good. So the weed that she might choose is, I'm not good enough, right? And this belief is going to show up. Like the apple, it represents the fruits that she'll experience in her life. If she starts with that belief of, I'm not good enough, what's going to start showing up in her life? I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, at every corner, right? She's so powerful with how she processes and what she holds as a belief. That will start shaping her experience and the fruits that she gets in her life. So, this is where we have some other options. We don't have to go this direction. We don't have to create a weed. We can plant something different.
Absolutely, Natalie. I think at this point, maybe this woman could use a little bit of balance oil. I could use a little bit of balance oil.
Can we pass that around?
Does anyone want to come up and experience balance oil? Would anyone be willing to let us help you experience this beautiful oil?
Do a little demo.
Little
I put it
demo.
on every morning with
Perfect.
balance and elevation of the feet every morning.
So
Awesome.
Janice is saying she puts, for our viewers and the audience, she puts elevation, balance, and
Just balance first,
Oh.
then elevation over it.
balance first, and then layers elevation over it on the bottom of her feet every morning.
Or balance and wild orange.
Or balance and wild orange, that's a great one too. What do you notice as you put
I'm
those on?
happy.
It lifts the mood.
It does.
We're going to go into why that happens scientifically. If you want to put balance on, I like to put it over my wrist because that's close to me being able to smell it. And for some reason, maybe just as a woman, I feel like I always have something around my face, right? My phone or a child. So feel free. A balance is a great one too to put on the back of the neck. to just help with that oxygen flow along the spinal column and along the head. I just want to talk to what Natalie did such a great job of explaining the science behind what happens with emotions. And if any of you are feeling, sometimes I feel like this woman a lot, and I feel like, what's my problem? Why do I keep having these things show up in my life? But I just want to pause to say when these experiences happen, they're actually a gift. So in my practice working with people emotionally, what I find when they come to me and they say, everything's great, there's nothing wrong, we actually don't make as much progress as when someone comes and there's something that they're experiencing. So what I have come to call these moments are healing gestures. So realize that when we have emotions in our life, we don't necessarily want to run away from sadness, right? It's okay to let that process naturally through the body. It's okay to have a day where you're feeling like you have a low mood or you're feeling some anxiousness, because typically that's teaching you something. That's helping you grow and choose some beliefs that would serve you better. And maybe you weren't aware of the beliefs you did have, right? So when this woman goes forward and she has another day like that, like Natalie was saying, the next morning, she's having a similar experience, it's gonna kind of like a harp chord, like just kind of tune that weed again and just remind her, oh, you know, you have that growing in your mind right now. That's a belief that you've anchored in cellularly. And if we get those reminders, we can let them go, right? Like Natalie said, we have the tools to help them process out naturally. The body already wants to do that. We just have a little more maybe in our day and time that our ancestors dealt with, but in exchange, we have more tools. So we just passed around balance oil. Balance is a grounding blend, and it contains frankincense, which is a really powerful magnifier. I like frankincense to help me get clear. And balance, sometimes when we're feeling how that woman was feeling, we're processing these emotions, we're either living in the future, or having anxious feelings, or we're living in the past, which tends towards low mood feelings. When we can center in the present, we have solutions to move forward. Okay, so when you're ever finding yourself in that place, balance oil is a great one to ground with, just like Janice was saying that she does, that you two were both saying every morning, to help anchor the body in. So why does it work this way? Why could an oil help you so powerfully? Have you ever thought about that? It's not like some magic thing. Sometimes people will say, I just have to believe it, and then like these magicians come out of the clouds and I'm better. And that's really not what it is. It's actual science. Essential oils are chemicals. Emotions, like Natalie explained, are chemicals. They speak the same language. Okay, you can make progress without oils, but oils will speed up your body's ability to do its job in really incredible ways. So I'm going to invite you to experience something. Think today, just in the last few hours, did anything happen for you that maybe caused some feelings of discomfort? So maybe you're running late, or maybe your child had a temper tantrum and you didn't know how to solve it, or something didn't go the way you wanted, you had a disagreement with your spouse, whatever it may be, okay? I'm going to invite you to think about that. And then I'm going to pass around some wild orange for our audience here. If you're not here, audience at home, get out your bottle of wild orange. This is going to take a minute, so we're going to give you time to grab that. And I'm going to have you think about that experience. Use the wild orange to take a deep inhale of the oil and invite that to let go from the body. Okay, sometimes we live in the past. We replay these experiences over and over, but just like Natalie talked about, we get to choose to let that go. But we have to consciously choose it typically. So we're going to help train the brain with this to let that go. So I'm going to start with Dave here. You can pass that around. Take a deep inhale. While we're thinking about wild orange, have any of you had an experience with balance as you put that on? Did any of you notice a little bit of a shift just even here while we've been in the class? Would you mind telling us, Dave, about what that felt like, the shift for you?
Well, you were talking about the reason to use the wild orange, you know, if you had a little bit of anxiety or whatever.
Uh-huh.
So when I got here, I've never been here before, so I pulled over this big doTERRA.
Here, I'm having you come up here because I want them to hear. Okay, you get to talk into this. Okay.
Okay. So anyway, I've never been here before, so I showed up over at the doTERRA building, and it's huge, and there's nobody in the windows. There's nobody walking in and out of the building, and I was like, am I at the right place? And I was a little bit anxious about it, and so I was thinking about that as I was, because I didn't want to be late and everything. So when I used the balance, it kind of helped just kind of relax that thought, and then putting the wild orange on. Anyway, I just lost everything I was thinking about.
See, oh, that's so good. Dave, thanks for sharing. I love that. I love that. So because, and we'll talk about this in a minute, but because oils bypass your other filtering organs, so your nose, your sense of smell, is one of your most powerful senses. And you can bypass other filters in the body. So that allowed Dave to just open that limbic system and just drop that emotion out, right? That anxious feeling that he was feeling from a life experience, because we can't change those life experiences you had, right? Sometimes we show up to the wrong place and we feel like, oh no, now I'm going to be late. It's not going the way I planned. Control, by the way, when things don't work out the way we want them to, or it's out of our control, that tends to be when we start to feel some of those feelings. So oils are very helpful for that. You notice in this slide, it says that oils promote emotional purification and anchor in healthy biochemistry. So that's what we just did with Balance and Wild Orange. We helped to detox what we were experiencing and anchor in what we want to. So we chose to let that go. We want to open up to something new and joyful today. We don't want to stay in the past. That's what we did. So oils are so powerful. There's 40 million trillion molecules in just a drop. So sometimes people feel like, I need to just take a bath in balance oil. I felt like that when I first was introduced. But really, a little bit goes a long way. That's why they're so powerful. We just have to put them on or open the bottle. Take them out of the cupboard, put them in your purse, put them by your bed, put them in your bathroom, wherever you might be able to use them. And just got to use them, and they will service every cell in the body in a matter of minutes. So like Natalie talked about, we carry emotions throughout our whole body. They don't just anchor in certain places. We can actually show that with science now. There's certain areas of the body where certain emotions may trigger. You know, if you've ever had grief, a time of grief in your life, and all of a sudden your lungs are really tight, you can't take in a deep breath, that's typically where we find that emotion wants to settle. So no matter where you put the oil, it can process through the body and invite that to leave. Here's how it looks. So we have one cell here, this cell, and it's received certain signals, certain emotions that have linked up with that cell. And as we know from science, whatever's on that cell receptor site will affect the function and behavior of the cell. Okay, so that cell looks like it chose to be those colors. It altered a little bit. The oils, as we do that, the oils help naturally clear receptor sites. So the body is doing this. The oils are not forcing this. But the oils are inviting the cell to do what it was already designed to do. And that is naturally process out the emotion it no longer needs. So that's what it's doing here. Now, it's really important that as we talk about the powerful emotional nature of the oils, that we understand that there are different kinds. You can't run out to your local grocery store, get an oil, and experience the same thing we're talking about. Especially as we talk about internal use, we want to be really safe and have you experience the greatest power you can from these simple tools. As this says, the grade of the oil you use is going to determine its effectiveness for you. So there's typically 3 different grades of oils. We have just our synthetic grade that usually you've probably all smelled in your lotions or soaps. You've got a food grade, might be your gum, your peppermint gum. And then we have a therapeutic grade, which is usually found at health food stores. The grade we're talking about today, and with doTERRA specifically, is certified pure therapeutic grade. That means that these plants and oils come from their natural climate. So if I grew a lemon tree in here throughout the year, it's going to have different chemical constituents than if I grew it in Italy, where doTERRA does grow its lemons. And that matters because those chemical structures interact differently with our chemistry. So we're going to have a more effective result when we use those really, really high quality pure oils. Okay, so it's really important that we understand that's really why we're inviting you to bring doTERRA specifically into your home. We want you to get help, but that's why this specific tool can be such a game changer. So for those of you who've never heard about essential oils and where they come from, it's just nice to note that in this image we have a peppermint leaf, and we're just illustrating if you took that peppermint leaf and blew it up really big, you'd see these little oil sacs. And just like when you rub those peppermint leaves together in your garden and you smell that, you're really just breaking open those sacs. And that's showing you what the oil comes from. It comes from different parts of the plants. So we're just taking in that natural component that our bodies also know how to use to protect, to strengthen, and to help our bodies be the most effective and whole that they can. So I love the oils because as we're trying to target our emotions, we're also going to be getting physical benefits. And many of you have probably noticed that how many of you have used peppermint if you've had some head tension of some sort? Almost everyone in this room has, right? Have you also experienced that when you put it on for head tension, that you also all of a sudden feel just like a fog lift from your brain? Like maybe you're trying to process all the details of your life for that day, and it's like an emotional breath. Have you ever experienced that? An emotional breath. So every oil that you use is dynamic. And that means it's going to give you physical benefit, or it's going to serve your body physically and emotionally. And think back to that woman, or even to yourself, when you are feeling certain physical emotions, like sadness, right? When I'm feeling sad, my physical body, it kind of feels like this, right? Do you feel like that? Am I the only one? You just feel like 3 tons is on top of my shoulders, right? That low mood. But when you're joyful, right? We talk about elevation. We feel light. We feel like we could jump across the floor in ballet leaps. There's physical symptoms, if you will. There's physical manifestations of what's happening emotionally. So you're going to notice both things. And if you're brand new to oils and you're looking at it from how can it help me emotionally, also notice that you're going to find physical changes and support as you help your body this way. So now let's just introduce you to the 3 ways that you would use an oil to emotionally help yourself. So the first way, you can see my diffuser up here. I've got some balance oil in it because Dave and I, we love balance. We all love balance, right? So I've got balance oil going. Once again, smelling an oil is the fastest way to affect your mood. So if you just want to take a minute, like the wild orange you experienced, that's the fastest way to adjust that. Let me give you some peppermint. How I'd use this one is I'd put a little drop in my hand, and I'm going to pass it to Dave so he can do the same. I like to rub it together and then take an inhale, once again, opening my limbic system very, very rapidly. Okay, it's like a key that just unlocks that part of the brain. And then for me, I like to take whatever's left and put it on the back of my neck. Peppermint's quite oxygenating. It also helps if you have any tension there. That's what I like to use it for. And notice if you don't just feel a clearing happen in the mind. Kind of lifting you out of the state that you're in. If you're finding yourself maybe weighed down like we talked about, that peppermint oil can just lift you out for a moment to help you gain a little bit of perspective, a little bit of clarity. So the first way we'd use an oil is to smell it. We call that aromatic use. And here's the great thing for all of you mothers out there. If you use a diffuser and you put oil in the diffuser, you get to affect your whole family at the same time. Who loves that idea? I love that idea, right? Sometimes my kids, they're in a bad mood or I'm in a bad mood and they do not want oils put on their body. I can just put a few in the diffuser. Most of the time they do. But I can put a few in the diffuser, and when they come home from school, I can affect that mood very easily. So that's a great way to help with mood management. Once again, you just have to put it in and press start. So the second way, the second way is topically. Okay, we're actually going to put it on the skin. And with peppermint oil, we did that. We smelled it, and then we put it on the skin. So sometimes we'll just put a drop on and that's going to serve. If you want to help it get into the skin, maybe just massage it a little bit, and that will bring the blood up to the surface, of the skin to help carry that throughout the body a little more rapidly. To affect the emotions, we tend to put it over those 3 brains that Natalie talked about. We want to support those centers of processing so that they are functioning in that beautiful connected way. So if I'm feeling, give me an emotion. Anyone's experienced an emotion just today that they could throw out? Okay, so we'll call it anxiousness to be compliant. I love that. I know what you're talking about. Where do you experience that in the body? Right here. Yep, most people experience anxious feelings right here. So if I want to support how that's feeling and help process that out, where am I going to put it? Right here. Now, if I put it on the back of my neck or the bottom of my feet, can that still serve me? Absolutely. So I'm going to give you console because I don't have serenity with me. I would typically choose that and balance. So if someone has the balance, let's pass it back this way.
Why does it work that way?
Why does what work?
The fact that you put it over the area where you're feeling it, why does it work on your body that fast?
Thanks, Natalie.
I mean, it's like it goes through your whole system anyway, so if your
Yes.
heart's feeling the tightness and you put it over your heart,
Yes.
then why is it working that quickly in that area? Does that make sense?
So if I understand your question right, she's saying, why would you go to a certain place? Like if your heart's feeling that tightness, why would you go to your heart and put it there and have it then hit the rest of the place quickly, the rest of the body quickly? Is that what you're saying? Even though emotions go through the whole body?
Right.
Okay, why would you focus on the heart?
And not maybe your
And not maybe okay,
head or
the thought
something.
process. Great question. Remember when we talked about we have 3 brains. We have the logic brain, the intuitive brain, and the gut brain. This is usually where we store our experiences. It's kind of like our library. We're like, how does that work out for me? Let's check out that book. Okay, that doesn't work out well for me. I got the pit in my stomach. Does that make sense? That's what happens typically in our gut. So why she'd put it over the heart is because that's where that emotion is attracting to, for lack of a better word. Think about it like honey spots on the body, right? So she's experiencing that in her chest right now, those anxious feelings. And so it's just that's kind of its home base. So we could look at some scientific studies, if you want to go that way, that show your liver tends towards certain emotions. Your lungs tend towards certain emotions. It's part of just the ancient wisdom that healers throughout the ages have come to understand. So it's very common, actually, that anxious feelings would be held right here. Do you have something to add?
I want to speak to this too because
Speak to it.
I feel like,
Have you put this?
if mind, heart, or gut, if one of those is getting blocked, then we're going to start there. Okay? So even though the oils are going to get everywhere, I'm going to start there. Just like if I skinned my knee, I'm going to start right there with my lavender, So we may think about emotions differently, but it's kind of like wherever the initial pain is, that's a good place to start. Does that make sense? So we're going to trust our body and trust the manifestations that we're seeing or feeling and start there. And then those neural pathways can start maybe working again, easier, better.
That is such a great explanation, Natalie. I appreciate that. So for those of you who are wondering, what did we do with the anxious feelings? We just took the oils we had today. I didn't have Serenity, which is a calming blend that I may recommend for that. We used Balance, and then we put a little bit of Console. And then I just invited her to hold the thought in her mind, I'm perfectly supported in this moment. And I'd probably say, I invite you just to take a couple deep breaths. Just smell that, maybe even close your eyes, and just bring it back to this moment. I'm perfectly supported in this moment. Did we answer your question, Wilna?
Yeah.
Okay. We will have a Q&A after, so if there's more coming to your mind, we can definitely dive in. All right, past tense, we'd show you how to use it topically. This is a great topical blend. For those of you who are teaching this, you can use this to show, if you put this over your forehead or over your shoulders and you're feeling tension there, sometimes we're feeling overburdened, right? By the end of the day, our shoulders, start out down, and by the end of the day, we're just like, okay, don't put anything else on my shoulders, right? I've even awakened in the middle of the night like this, dreaming about whatever's on the plate, right? This is great. We typically grab this if we have some head tension, but it's also great for confused feelings. If I'm feeling confused or like I'm carrying too much. So if you want to experience that, go ahead and roll some over your forehead or on your shoulders, whatever may serve you. Again, put it where you're feeling that tension. Sometimes the names of the oils can help us understand the role that they play. The last way we can use an oil to support our emotions and to feel good is to take it internally. And once again, we just want to point out that this is only the certified pure therapeutic grade. So this is only that very pure grade because we don't want you to take anything else with fillers into your body. And the one that we show for this one is On Guard. And On Guard, under the little label, it's called the Protective Blend. So if I want to take this internally, I'm just going to put a little drop on the back of my hand, and then I'm going to lick it. If you would like to experience that, it's spicy. But it's great if you're feeling anything in your throat. I love this when I'm speaking. Notice, we typically recommend that oil physically for seasonal threats, right? We're kind of going into Christmas time. We're with a lot of people. We want to keep ourselves healthy. We might use On Guard on the bottom of our feet or in our mouth. Yeah. But emotionally, this is a great one for feelings of vulnerability. So before you're going into a crowd or in a place where you may feel a little more emotionally vulnerable, you could put this on the bottom of your feet. You could diffuse this. You could even put it in a spray bottle and spray it and just walk through it, right? Let that kind of serve as a protective emotional feeling for you as you put that on. So as we move down your handout, so we're just on the second page right here. As we move down your handout, you'll notice that this foundational support that I'm talking about next is at the bottom of the page. It's by this root structure of the trees. Remember the apple on the front, that belief she was producing in her life? The apple has to be nourished by those roots, right? We need something. We can't the oils are fantastic and they're really going to help us in our moment by moment support, but we really need to make sure that those three brains we talked about are being nourished regularly with what they need. So here we have the Lifelong Vitality Pack of doTERRA. When we have daily support of those healthy fats, those micronutrients, then we're going to be able to actually absorb our nutrition. Our cells are going to be able to really help let go of what we don't need and anchor in what we want. So as you start to look in your life about maybe the weeds that you're planting, maybe you can also be thinking now, what do I need to add, right? We don't just pull weeds, but we also like to plant things that we like. So let's look at our experience we had with anxious feelings. We were feeling something and we wanted to pull that out, so we gave some support, but then I also gave her a thought to plant instead. I am perfectly supported in this moment, so that she didn't just have a hole where that weed came from, right? But we actually planted something new. And this is where the foundational support is really, really helpful. Increasing our water intake, moving our body a little bit more can shake off some of those lower feelings, those feelings that hold us down a little bit. So I might say, hey, can you give me 5 minutes a day of just jogging in place? Just 5 minutes. It's actually going to lift your energy. It's going to release chemicals that will help your mood. And you might not have the energy to get off the couch, but as you use this, that will support you physically so you can do some of those healthy, positive things. Can I put you on the spot to see how you're feeling? Yeah? Calmer? So I just asked her how she was feeling from putting those oils on, and she said a lot better, calmer. Look at the power. Now, we haven't solved her problem forever in this moment, right? We haven't solved it. But if she does this daily, she was able to have some help and support in that moment. And as she continues to do this and anchor that belief, she is going to see different results in her life. That's powerful. That was a little thing, okay? This really works, you guys. I see this in my practice all the time. So supporting yourself on a cellular level, nutrition is key, okay? We need to take those Lifelong Vitality Pack, all those good nutrients that our body can absorb, that our body recognizes. The next part is the gut. Remember how Natalie talked about 90% of our serotonin is actually produced in our gut. That's the chemical that makes you feel happy. That's the happy chemical. If your gut is full of sludge, is it going to be harder to feel that way? Let me tell you something really interesting. I have personally been doing a little bit of a gut cleanse the last couple of weeks, and all sorts of stuff has been coming up for me as I've been doing that. You know why? Because it's cleaning out that old library of beliefs, right? So there's just a interesting thought as you detox and clean your gut, and doTERRA has some incredible products for that. You've got the GX Assist, which helps you clean out that gut. Terrazyme, which is your digestive enzyme. I just was using this last night after I had a heavier meal. Didn't have as much fresh food in it. That serves the body to help break down food. We've got our Zendocrine oil. I love to put that on the bottom of my feet or over my liver. And the lemon to drink, your probiotic. As I've been doing these things, I've been noticing these old emotions coming up that I can recognize and let go. So physically, as I serve my gut center and detox that, I open a space to start anchoring in, I am perfectly supported in this moment. I have everything I need all the time. It has a place to start to root in that gut. Does that make sense? Really important that we help people understand that a healthy gut will help your mood. So where do I begin? So we've talked about emotions, we've talked about oils. Now we're going to help you take that information and let's apply it. So what do I do right now? Who is open to being another volunteer for me today? Coming up. Will you come on up? Thanks for being brave. Okay, so I'm going to share this with you. Tell me your name.
Christy.
Christy, thank you, Christy. Can you look at our wheel here? So this is doTERRA's aromatherapy wheel. And look at those different emotions and tell me if there's one that you may have been experiencing in the last day.
Let's see.
You're like, for me, I look at that and think probably all of them.
Which one should I choose? No, just kidding. Let's do. Sorry, just a second.
What maybe comes up for you the most?
Yeah. Ashamed.
Ashamed. Okay. I'm sister with you. I get that emotion as well. So we look at ashamed. Where do we find that? Ashamed is down here in this part of the wheel that says trees. Okay. Now you'll notice there's 2 oils on either side of that wheel. One is forgive and one is console. So I'm going to say, here's forgive. Tell me your name one more time.
Christy.
Christy, I'm so sorry. Christy, there's forgive and there's console. And I want you to smell them. And just see, is there one that just sings to you a little bit more?
Probably this one.
Probably console. Okay, so I'm going to say, then let's choose console. Now you could use both if you wanted, but we'll go with console. Now, where are you experiencing in your body when you feel that shame feeling? Where are you feeling it? Is it up here? Is it here? Okay, your heart. So she knew exactly, right? She didn't have to be, she just like felt it. So now I'm going to say, okay, Christy, you're going to take console because it's on your stomach. You can go in the hall, so you're private. And I want you actually to put it on your stomach and on your heart. And what may be, I'm going to add just a little thing here. What might be the opposite of feeling ashamed?
Peace. I just want peace.
I feel peace. I am worthy. Something like that. I'm whole. I am peaceful. Whatever positive thing, I'm going to invite her to go put that on. And maybe just add that opposite thought. Okay?
Okay.
I'm going to invite you to do that. So, how could this apply to your children? Right? Have you ever had a crying child who's like, I don't know, I just am so upset, the world is ending? Right? Or even you might feel that way. Your child might explain it better than you. Isn't it so empowering to have a teenager and to say, how are you feeling on this? Are you feeling maybe a little insecure up there? Hey, why don't you try these 2 oils? See what best serves you. Where do you feel like you're experiencing it? Put it right there. Is that easy to do? Raise your hand if you think this is easy to do, right? Sometimes we make it feel more complex, but you guys, these tools are so powerful. Go ahead.
One time I was having a meeting with one of my upline, and her 8-year-old wanted attention.
Okay.
And he was bugging her and talking to her, and finally.
I'm going to pause you to just rewind.
Thanks, Natalie.
You're-
Okay, I was having a meeting with one of my upline, and her 8-year-old was needing her attention, and he kept coming in and talking to us, and finally he started melting down. And she just said, okay, stop now, go find the emotion wheel, see what emotion you're feeling, you get that oil, put it on, and go in your room for 5 minutes. He did, and he was 8. And it worked.
That is empowering.
That was great, yeah, I was so impressed.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that story. That is an empowering experience about how we really can take our emotional wellness into our own hands. Right? And when you can change something, even as an 8-year-old, how do you feel? Wow, what great life lessons that she was teaching her child, rather than mom being the all solution. Thank you, Christy. I know that was so fast, but did you experience any difference? Or
Yeah.
anything you noticed? Tell
I
us a little
feel
about
lighter, and it came to me to plant in I am a light.
it. Wow.
And I just feel like my whole heart lifted.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Love it. I love that. So we can experience like this shift moment by moment. But what do we have to do? We actually have to open it. And we actually have to put it on. That was powerful. Thank you for being willing to share. I really appreciate. I felt all these things on this wheel. So thanks for being willing to share. I now have something really exciting to share with you. We only have how many emotions on this wheel? Not that many. I think there's 6 oils. There's 12 emotions. Are there more emotions than you've experienced that are on that list? We're going to announce, sneak peek to you, that we are bringing out an app that contains over 85 different emotions that allows you to search by the emotion you're experiencing, or allow your child to search. And when they click on one of these, well, this is the abdomen. Let me go back. I'll tell you here. I don't have a picture for it. When you click on the emotion of abandoned, it'll tell you, what is that? So maybe I'm feeling anxiousness, but maybe I'm feeling it because I'm worried I might be abandoned, right? There might be more to it than just the basic feeling. That's going to tell you what oil I can use to support me, where I can put the oil, the affirmation that I can say, and the visualization that I could hold in my mind to move me to that space. It'll even show you the opposite emotion that you may want to invite in. Okay, who's excited about that? Are you so excited? Yay! It's also going to let you search by your body system. So maybe you're not really sure how you're feeling, but your stomach is causing you a lot of issues. Okay, you can click on abdomen and realize that you may be experiencing anxious, conflicted, or nervous feelings. Okay, that's what we hold in our abdomen. It'll help you ask questions like, am I reinforcing positive or negative beliefs with my current thinking? Am I digesting something that's not at home with my current beliefs? Right, it'll help you ask questions. And finally, it will have all the oils that doTERRA carries and help you understand what emotions those oils address and where to put them. So you get the sneak peek. This will be coming out, look for it, about September 6th, the week before convention. So we're really excited to get that tool into your hands. All right, Mally's going to walk us through how to hold this.
I'm so excited about what you just shared, because I think so many times we're just kept from answers because we don't know exactly where to find them, right? How many times in life do we know there's an answer, but we're not connected to it? And so I think it pays for us, like that mom that you were talking about, right? Your leader. She had that box lid that her little boy could go to and use as a tool. So we have that. And now we have an app where you can easily be able to scan and get those answers and be prompted with the right kinds of questions so that we can use emotions to support us in becoming more and more of who we really are and do what we were meant to do, right? That makes me so excited.
Me too.
I know. I feel like I had to dig deep and go to so many classes and so many workshops and experiences to find, okay, I'm going to use these 3 reference guides and I'm going to bring them together like this, and that one app being able to bring that together. So thank you for your vision there, Jenny. That's a gift, and I'm sure it will bless a lot of people. Now we're going to, so you notice that we've been going through this handout so that you can use this as a simple tool and you can see how it comes together, right? So now we've talked about solutions and we're moving right into habits and lifestyle, right? How can we take these moment-by-moment solutions and start affecting what's really happening in our world from day to day, okay? So I love this little quiz because it helps us just kind of take an inventory of where we're at, right? I could ask myself, where am I? How healthy is my mind? I work on healthy thought patterns. Can I check that off? Is it true? Is it real? Is that happening for me? I choose to believe good about myself and others. You know? Just a quick check-in. I nourish my brain with good fats and minerals, like Jenny was just talking about, getting those basic nutrients so that my mind can be what it was meant to be, right? I'm giving it everything it needs to properly function. So take a little inventory there. How are you doing? How about on the heart, in the realm of the heart? I trust my intuition and my higher power. How are you doing there? I freely give and receive love. I often feel peaceful inside and I rest well. some of these areas I'm like, okay, I get to focus a little bit more right there, right? The heart really can affect that peace and even the rest that you get, right? So taking a look at how these things are affecting your lifestyle. Our gut, if we move to that, some of the questions we might ask are, do I digest and process my food well? Because how we digest and process our food might be similar to how we're digesting and processing life, right? Those experiences that are coming our way. I nourish my digestive system with good nutrition and enzymes. And my body is healthy and feels good. So, you can kind of scan, see where we're at, and then when we know where we want to go, right? Where do we want to go? We want to go to a healthy, empowered. I want to feel emotion, and I want to learn from emotion. And I want to use emotion to do great things, right? After I learn from that emotion, it can fuel great things in our worlds. So, in order to do that, I need to take a look, at the things that are a part of my lifestyle too, and say, okay, what do I want to shift here? What things am I going to pull out? Do I have some weeds going? What are some weeds that might be living in my world right now? And there's a little space where you can write that down, take that to the next level. They might be negative thoughts, relationships, or substances. I love being a mother of 7. It's amazing. And this summer, we just got back from an RV trip with our whole family, right? In an RV for 30 days. So that was a special gift as a mother of 7 to be in those situations. And just a couple of experiences that are coming to my mind when I think about weeding. The first time we took a trip in the RV, it was just like up the canyon, right? Like 20 miles up there, 20 miles back. And about 2 minutes into it, I felt like I was kind of hyperventilating because my children were not in car seats. We were in an RV. You just sit down in an RV. You don't sit in car seats, And only in some states do they require that you sit in car seats. So there was lots of people moving in the car, and I didn't like that. And I was feeling out of control and da-da-da. So I get home from that experience. I processed that a little bit, and I thought, okay, I love what that creates. I don't want to create a negative belief about that. So I walked back into the back of the RV where we have a bed, right? So back section bed, I'm like, okay, what if I go to surrender fast? And I just learn that I can surrender control. I don't need to be in control of everybody's positioning in the RV to be happy, right? Like, would I have had a very good time on that 30-day trip if I still wanted to be in control of where everybody was in the RV? Right. It would only take like 2 minutes to go crazy. And I had a whole month that I had to get down, right? So I went down, laid on that bed, brought my arms out, laid back, and just gave up that control. And as soon as I did it, I felt that lightness, right, that Christy was talking about, just come. And I chose to surrender. And that surrender helped me, weeded out what could have been anxiousness for 30 days and a traumatic event, right? Instead of joy and connection. So if we watch these weeds that are starting up, or even that are there, like Jenny was saying, this awareness, right? You start cleaning out your gut, and what comes up? Old stuff. And we may be wondering, why am I feeling this? I don't feel this way all the time anymore. Where's this coming from? And it's okay to say, oh, wow, I used to feel that way a lot. And thank you. I am so glad that I don't feel that way every day. And just let that emotion keep going, right? Acknowledge it and let it keep going. Not build or plant a weed on it, a weed based on that, right? So maybe you need to go find your bed and surrender and release something, right? Whatever it is that you need to let go of, think about that. Some things, some ideas may have come to you during our class today. Maybe they'll come even after. But if we can weed out those things, then we can create a space for what?
Good thoughts.
Yeah. And feeling good, right? We want to feel good, feel happy, and have these beautiful seeds planted in our life that bring us amazing fruits. So, what do you want to plant? What else do you want to develop? This is where, when as a mother of 7, I start realizing, wow, when we're not on a constant family vacation, I need more time with my husband. And so I want to create, and how many times have I done this throughout my life? Okay, we're going to do date night. We're going to do date night. I have to keep going back to a habit or a practice or something I want to change, and it's okay. I can go back to it 100 times if I need to, as long as my desire's there and I do something, right? So decide something that you want to shift. Maybe it's start taking some of those supplements that Jenny talked more about. And then how are you going to nourish that, right? Maybe there's some other affirmations that you want to bring into your world. Maybe you want to use that wild orange every morning with an affirmation. I'm perfectly supported, or I surrender, and I know I'm perfectly supported. Whatever that may be, find these practical pieces that you can do. Even if it's just one thing that will take you toward where you want to go, right? How many of us want to feel good or feel better? We always want to feel good and feel better. And these practical pieces can take us there. Here's a few other tips as well. Just increasing water intake is going to help us keep flowing, right? We talk about experiencing emotion, letting it pass. Water can help us really roll with that. Exercise and movement is a great way to support healthy emotion. A friend was texting me this morning, and she was really feeling a lot of opposition, and like she just wanted to give up, right? And I was in a moment, that I thought, okay, what can I tell her in this moment? What support can I offer? I can be empathic. I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness, that's so hard, right? You kind of want to feel that first. And then just simply invite her, okay, what do you need to do? What do you need to do to go to a different place? And for her, it was move. I need to move my body. So exercise and movement are big. Sometimes it's running, sometimes it's swimming, sometimes it's that punching bag, whatever you need it to be. Rest and meditate. Sometimes that's where we get renewal and we'll get some support, and improve your diet. Taking good things into us so that we are attracting good, right? More good's coming in our way. I love this quote at the bottom. It's by Lisa Wimberger, and she says, "You fill a bucket drop by drop. You clear your mind thought by thought. You heal yourself moment by moment." I think sometimes in this fast-paced world, we're tempted to want just total healing and total wellness, and I want it all now. And if it isn't all, delivered to us in that way, then it's not enough. My experience is that's not how life works. And it happens just like Lisa's talking about, drop by drop. I remember last year when this emotional kit was released, and I just felt so much gratitude that these tools had been brought together in such a masterful way for us to access, right? And I brought it home, and I just kept my kit next to my bathtub and where I got ready in the morning, because I felt like if I just put on whatever oil I needed, it was bringing the healing that I needed that day. And it was like for a whole month or two that I just felt like I'm getting this amazing self-care and this amazing nurturing. So I invite you to be active in that process. It's a process that happens one drop at a time, one moment at a time. You can choose in to this kind of healing and wholeness, and it will come to you. And I don't know that we ever arrive, right? It happens little by little, but it always brings us more peace, and then we're in a place where we can share that peace and that wholeness with other people in their journey to experience that. So that's my invitation to you, is choose that. And one of the best ways to do that is getting these oils in your home, in your life, so you have them to draw from, right? I remember when I first got my essential oil kit, right? I told you about when I got my emotional kit. Well, my very first doTERRA kit. I had used lots of other essential oils before, and I'd used a lot of them and experienced emotional healing process, right, through them. But it was nothing compared to what I experienced when I brought those doTERRA oils into my home. I remember having them, I had like this little, you know, the caddies that you put like forks and spoons and knives in? Well, we didn't have oil cases when oils were first delivered, and so I just had my little caddy and I took it to whatever room I was in because I knew I was going to need it, right? I'm only here teaching this because I need it so much, right? That's how we become experts. But as I had that caddy next to my bed, I looked at my husband and I said, we are the richest people in the whole world to have these treasures from all over the world, and these tools that we can support our own family and others that come our way. And it really is true. I did not know how valuable they were until I brought them into my home. So there's all kinds of dollar values on these kits, but there's a much bigger value here that we're dealing with. All you need to do is choose the kit that's right for you, right? You'll know what that is, and we're happy to answer questions to help you get more of a sense of that. I love the Natural Solutions Kit because it has a variety of options, and it's so powerful at bringing you more than just a handful, right? Just like you saw today when Jenny was like, I wanted the Serenity right now, you know? It's really great to have those things at your fingertips, and you never know you're going to need it until you're in the moment and you need it, right? So be empowered. Choose the kit that's best for you. Of course, you can, once you choose the kit that's best for you, you'll get wholesale pricing going forward. And I love to know the smartest way to buy going forward as well. So you'll get your initial oils with your kit, and then going forward, you'll purchase on the Loyalty Rewards program if you want to purchase the smartest way to buy, okay? That allows you to get product credits back, which essentially you can cash in for a free product that you can use to add to your family's repertoire, or to be able to share with others and help others in their journey, right? And with doTERRA, it's really simple. You can just use these tools to support you in your emotional wellness, you can choose to use these tools and share with other people by hosting a class like this, or just sharing with your mom, a friend, a sister, or you can choose to teach and carry this message to other people. And whatever you choose, we're happy to support you in that process. Just let us know where you're at so we can support you there. And then you'll see this price list that gives you the retail and of course the wholesale, what you'll get when you get your starter kit. And then this enrollment form, just you're selecting, checking the box that you want for your starter kit, putting any other products like there's a fun, that digestive kit, very similar to that foundational health piece that was right there in the middle that Jenny taught about. Your personal details, and you're good to go, right? So I kind of wanted to just model a close with this so you could see how that feels. And then I always just like to wrap it back up with this thought again, that you can be your own best advocate. It's up to you to claim the gift of emotional wellness. Nobody else can do it for you, but you can do it, and you can do it by choosing one thing. And these essential oils have been the most powerful catalyst for me to connect to a lot of the healing that was really there for me. And so grateful to be able to share this message with you. Ta-da!
Thank you, Natalie.
Thank you. So fun to teach together,
So
Jenny.
fun. So fun. Thank you for participating, everyone. We appreciate your willingness to be open. We've allotted time to have Q&A. And so if those of you here would have questions, we do have one question that came in that we can talk about.
Great.
And that is, how do I use this to build my business? So we shared with you a very real class where we were really like, let's get vulnerable and let's be real, okay? But how do I really use this and duplicate my effort from a business standpoint? You want to speak to
question.
that for a second, and then we'll open it up here.
That's a great question. How do you use it to build your business? To me, building a business means if I'm changing lives, I'm building a business. Okay? Because if I share a message that makes an impact on somebody's life, they are going to act. And if I'm not inviting action, if I'm just sharing knowledge, I have only done half of what I could do. So I love that I can educate and empower with this message. And that's that last invitation. Get these oils into your home. Bring them into your life. I know that I might just have a few minutes with a person, but if I am strong in that invitation and they know how important I believe that is, then they don't know all that I know. They've got to trust in me for a time, and I have to be so solid in that. And I think just doing that one class right in that way and coming with a strong invitation. Sometimes when we talk about emotions, we get all flowery and we don't invite, and we don't let people know how important it is to act. And so to me, that's key. And you just do that right, and then invite people to come forward in sharing da-da-da. So we build a business by duplication, right? So we share this message, we invite others to share the message, and we support them in doing that. And that's how we build a business. And meet people where they're at so they can really come and connect to this message, right? Where are the people that are needing this? Look outside, right? The next person you meet needs this message, right? They're all over. So you can decide how to connect to those people and how to get them in their backside in a seat and to receive the message, right? That's another big part of it. So those are a couple of key pieces that I would that I would choose, make sure and appeal to pain points. You know, what are people hurting about right now? What are they? There's been a lot of, it seems like a lot of accidents, a lot of, I've had a lot of friends with a lot of death lately, and I've got people wondering, where can I turn? What can I use? I've got a lot of grief, da-da-da. Whatever it is that you're seeing around you, tailor the message to that. And so you can call it essential emotions or da-da-da, or you can call it, hey, we're going to have a class on how to deal with grief. And you teach this message and you tailor it a little bit, bringing a little bit more content on that. You get the app, you talk about grief, da-da-da, and it's a similar class, but you're wrapping it in a way that you're helping the people that need that message to receive that message, right? So those are some of my initial ideas.
When will the app be ready?
The week of September 6th.
Okay.
You can download it.
Thank you.
And I love what Natalie shared. I think those are really powerful ideas from someone who knows. She mentioned duplication. And with this class, right, we invite you to teach this. We've tried to provide all the tools. There is a script that you can download and read through. We don't suggest that you read the script like this and teach the class. This, you have the message in you if you're to share, okay? You have life experiences that each of you have been vulnerable enough, to share with us today. Your mess is your message, right? We hear that a lot. You've had those experiences because there are people in your life that need your message, and you're connected to them already, or you will be connected to them. I believe in divine order, and that things flow into our life for a reason. And so we've provided this for you as a template. You use this, people need to take something home. They feel it, they want it, but then they need to go talk to their spouse, right? They need to take something home. But we have videos you can watch. We have a script you can read. And then you just leave that behind if you want. If you want to play the videos because you're feeling nervous, great. But I say just leave it behind and trust that you're enough and your message is enough. Even if you sit knee to knee and say, how are you doing? Let me just share with you what you can do. How are you feeling? Where are you feeling it? Okay, what does the wheel say? Let's get you that oil and put it on. Just get the oil on them, right? But trust that you're enough. And that effort to duplicate in your team, as it's simple, read it, go to the website, study up, and then just go and do.
Yeah, that's where we have the impact, when we're authentic, when we're standing in the things that we know and we can share, right? We're learning things all along the way to strengthen our message. But that isn't your message. You are your message. You have your message, right? You deliver that, and some lives will be changing, including your own.
Yes, I will attest to that one, for sure. Do any of you have follow-up questions on that? Go ahead.
What would you suggest to, like, maybe you know someone in your life who's just doing, like, measuring in general, and they're really sensitive, so, like, you wouldn't want to just be like, hey, you should try these oils, or hey, you should take an emotion class. What would be, like, a more graceful way to kind of introduce that into someone's life?
Yeah.
To sort of help change them, but, like, not being like, you need to change.
Right.
Good
So
question.
you'd rather not offend in the invitation, right? You want to, like, draw in, not push away, right? I like doing that by asking questions. So one question I might ask is, hey, what's coming up for you lately in your world? Because I've been learning a lot, and it's been so fun because whatever's coming up for me, I'm finding answers for. So what's coming up for you? Something that simple. And then, hey, and here's another way to ask it is, what's your emotional landscape look like lately?
Old question.
Yeah. Well, and it's okay to use bold questions as long as I stay vulnerable, right? When I make myself I'm perfect, I wish you could be perfect too, that's when we get resistance, right? But when I'm vulnerable and I say, wow, I had to take a hard look at my emotional landscape, and I had people tell me, wow, there's this tinge of sadness with you and it never goes away, you know? And so I've been working on that, and this is what I'm doing, you know? So does some of that feel like you could get there and do the invite? I think sometimes we don't even have to, you know, that's a nice direct question. It could take you where you want to go on a one-on-one or things like that. But sometimes it could just be like, I've been having some pain in this area and I found some solutions. You know, will you come to a class with me? I think there might be some great solutions that could serve you as well.
I was just going to tap onto that.
in front of them
Yeah.
they could say, what are you doing?
Yeah, use it, model it. Natalie has taught me, she uses the word serve, if this would serve you. So maybe you've talked to a friend and they've already shared with you something that's going on. I call them and I say, hey, I remember you mentioning that this was happening in your world right now. I'm going to host a class about this. If that would serve you, I'd love to have you come. Right? So you're not saying you really have a problem and you need to come, because we all really have a problem and need the message. So we're just inviting them to act if this would serve you. That's a great word that Natalie uses a lot.
It's a great, simple way.
And open it up, like be vulnerable too, to put it out and share, because there are people that you don't realize want this message who haven't ever shared with you. So even posting it with social media sites, what we're finding is this is people's number one health concern right now. And maybe they've heard about the oils or they've heard about the physical classes, the classes that teach how to use them. But when we introduce this element to it, we're finding that a new market opens where people maybe have dulled their ears a little bit to it. And here they're like, whoa, that actually is what I want. So, but Natalie brought up such a good point about just being vulnerable and real. We all do this together. Great question.
Yes.
Does anyone else have questions that they want to have answered?
Maybe this would be a good one to
Yeah.
teach a class.
Okay, so let's get your
I
question.
got it.
Oh,
I said maybe this would be a good one to teach a class with social media, to touch those on Facebook that,
yes.
you know, they know about our oils, but they've really never engaged with us. Maybe this would do it.
I love that, right? And could you ask a couple of engaging questions? How many of you have felt low mood, right? Keyword for a big other word that we can't say. How many of you have felt anxious feelings? How many of you have felt grief and you wonder how to deal with it? How many of you worry at night about the state of the world and have a hard time sleeping?
And sometimes people are triggered by their children, right? They want solutions for everyone else, but they don't think of themselves, right? Especially the women that, there's a lot of, that's who our target market is typically in doTERRA, that's their audience. You can, for me, I came into this world because I had a child who was struggling to focus or to process information, which falls under this category. And so that's a great way too, you know, even this time of year, to help your kids, you know, process back to school, to process the workload that they may be feeling in their world, and then that opens them up. You know, we try not to cross this over with, we understand that mental health in general is really complex, and we're not going in there to try to be a counselor or to try to solve something that should really be handled by a professional. But wherever you're at, we can meet you with this class, and we can actually, wherever you're at, move you down the road if you take these tools into your home, wherever you're at. So it doesn't have to be a scary invite. This is actually, I think a lot of people are open to this, everyone I've ever talked to.
I've got a question. My grandson has just been diagnosed with Asperger's. He's 22. And I sometimes think he doesn't know his own emotions, what is normal versus what he's lived with. Where do you start?
It's a great question. I definitely can see that. So the great tool, a lot of us don't know our own emotions. If we're really honest, I hear I'm stressed and I'm tired. That's what I hear, but people don't understand that they're actually feeling lost or vulnerable, right? So to me, that's where I just use the oils from a dynamic standpoint, that they will affect you physically and emotionally. So I can still support him in that and help him with his mood by just applying the oils. We don't necessarily always have to have an understanding of exactly where we're at to still experience the effects. I mean, I love Christy's example because it came to her what to say when she put it on, right? She identified something, she didn't know what she necessarily wanted to be feeling, but when she put it on, she had that realization in herself. If he's at a place where maybe he doesn't know exactly where he wants to go or what he should be feeling or what he is feeling, just get those oils on him.
All of them.
Yeah, just start dumping him. That's really where we can be intuitive about it. You know, for my kids, I'll say, you know what? Why don't you go stand in front of the oils and see which ones you might need for your body? And just trust that he might select the ones that he just needs. And just apply a few to the bottoms of his feet, over his heart. It's very simple to sit even with a 3-year-old and to say, here's a couple of oils. Which one do you think you want right now? And let him smell it. He can identify one. Where do you think your body wants to feel that oil right now? I really want to feel it right here. Okay, let's put it on you. He doesn't have to have a total conscious understanding to still receive the benefit.
And in that way, you could even start out by diffusing those oils when you have influence over him, you know?
Great idea.
I mean, start somewhere and then take the next step is the thing I always like to remember, because sometimes I'm like, in my mind, I'm already going to, okay, I've got to go for total conversion and da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and that's like 50 steps down the road from where we are today. And I just need to do what you're asking, you know, just get the peace. We have a question?
So we have a question from online, someone saying, I have a child with high anxiousness.
So the online question is, I have a child with high anxiousness. What can I do to serve and support that child? I love what some of the things Jenny has said about the simple things. Younger, I'm like, okay, how old? Where did it go? You know?
We like to be problem solvers.
I know. But to me, it's meeting that child where they're at. If this child thinks, if he wants research to make sense of it in his mind before he'll open up to it more, then I'm going to take him to PubMed.gov. And I'm going to start looking at the research pieces. Or I'm going to get Caroline Leaf's book. And I'm going to say, you know what, look at these quotes right here. Isn't that amazing? Did you know we could have that kind of impact? And did you know that physical ailments are hand in hand with emotional wellness and condition? Just asking simple things like that, just kind of spurring it on for him. So, and then going to the anxiousness. I love the oils that you brought into play today. Serenity, balance. I love frankincense for children, and it's very good at calming as well. I like putting it across the forehead because we have some major glands right here. And so loving getting frankincense across the forehead on a child of any age. Yes.
Elevation is a really good one for that.
Elevation.
My grandson has a certain thing.
Anxiousness.
And
Okay.
my husband went to get frankincense and couldn't find it. He was on the soccer field. And instead,
My grandson has a situation, but frankincense is good, but he couldn't find frankincense, so he used elevation across his forehead. Within not even 5 minutes, he was on the soccer field. It was his first time to be on the soccer field, and it just, with his situation, he panicked.
Wow.
But elevation went to work like you cannot believe. He was out there, Mama, I'm ready to go play. So
Well, it's-
elevation's a great one.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. So a couple thoughts that I'm having just to add to these already great ideas. Depending on how old the child is, if you can involve that child in finding solutions, typically we feel anxious feelings when we feel like we don't have control. And so if that child can stand in front of the oils and select one that they might need in that moment, anytime we're dealing with anxious feelings, we want to bring them to this present time, right? So just come back with me to the present. Maybe they choose that oil, and these are simple solutions, you guys, but you just open the bottle, you breathe it in. Breathing is a big deal. Just give them a minute. We're always so fast paced, right? And as we just take a minute to breathe it, and maybe he even just plants, right? The thing we want him to plant is, I am just present in this moment. I'm just sitting in this moment. And that can separate that child from being in this future world. That's always where anxious feelings come from. We're always in the future world. So let's just be in this moment. Give them control to choose the oil they want. And breathing is huge. So just taking a few really deep breaths to help ground them. They're very simple techniques, but we found a lot of success with that for children handling that.
Oh, I love that. And then once they've experienced that and they're right there in that good place, it's a great time to say, wow, how does this feel?
Yes.
How can we create this feeling and anchor them to that new place, right? Sometimes they have so much like trauma around the anxiousness that starts getting wired a lot in the brain instead of this new piece. But with the oils, we can easily anchor in a new experience, a new reality. Wow. Okay, so you feel peaceful right now. How's that feeling for you? Would you like to feel that more often? What do you think we should do so that you can feel this way?
I love that.
I think I should carry this in my pocket to school, So I have some kids that go back to school with one oil in one pocket, some with two oils, one in each pocket, some that resist a little bit, so they're in the backpack, So whatever they choose, then move forward and keep kind of evaluate, hey, how's that working for you? Check in.
And verbalization, I love that Natalie brought that up. Verbalization can really help too, right? They're in that moment. So how do you want to feel to stay like this? Well, I want to just feel calm inside, Mom. Okay, then every day, can we just say, I choose to be calm. I am calm. Now that's going to feel like a lie when they first say it, probably. But as they continue, we know that our brains are what we call neuroplastic, right? We can actually, those pathways that feed into the brain, because so much of our subconscious works for us, like we have a life experience, it finds the exact pathway and goes down. But over time, that's where the oils really help us to redirect and then to start anchoring in. So the oils redirect and they help us drop that into a new nook in the brain. But as we keep verbalizing that, maybe with the oil, like, I am peaceful, I am peaceful, I am calm, I am still inside, then that can help just anchor that deeper and deeper and deeper.
That's so powerful. And if they think the affirmation, they can't believe it or it seems crazy for them, it's okay. They can either keep on going with that or you can introduce an affirmation, which is, why are you so peaceful? Why are you so peaceful? And then what's their brain looking for, their subconscious mind? Evidence that I'm peaceful. Oh my gosh, I was peaceful when the teacher did this. And I handled it great when Dad did that, So whatever, those are great techniques, simple techniques that put that child in the driver's seat of what they want to create.
Love that. Go ahead.
Letting them choose the oil really helps to
Great.
When you let your child choose the oils, it just reinforces, that you trust them. They can trust themselves in picking what's right for them, and it just kind of reinforces that positive belief system that they can, they're worthy, they have value, their thoughts and their beliefs have value. Also, I've read that a lot of times kids, when they're upset, is just like dehydration. And so drinking that water and having a lot of water helps shift that energy, that emotion inside the body. It keeps it so it's not stagnant. And maybe even like drinking the oils in the water would be a really positive thing to help keep those energy.
That's a
that
great
movement
idea
shifting.
too.
I don't have
Oh, that's great
Great thoughts.
idea.
Great
My daughter too. I have a 4-year-old that I'm just like,
He's so cute.
we'll coach her on, okay, take 3 deep breaths, and she'll get that in her oils. But then sometimes she just needs to move to shake it out of her, kind of. And so I'm just like, okay, Abby, time to shake, and she will go shake. And it really helps her too. So great, those tips that we talked about in the class, they're real.
they are real.
Right? And we just apply them in different ways.
It's not too good to be true. It's just simple, small and simple things add up.
Yeah. Christy.
The child really is in a dangerous situation.
So what if the child really is in a dangerous situation?
That's causing anxiety.
Harm,
Causing
right?
anxiety. Yeah. Or the anxious feelings.
It's a great question.
Well, at that point, I would probably, if someone was asking me that, I would recommend that they talk to a professional, right? That if they're really in a place that's, the oils aren't going to help pull them out of a dangerous place, right? We can support them as they process through that recovery time. But is that what you're asking? Like what step you'd actually take if they're in a dangerous place?
Or maybe as a mom, if they're acting out, is that where you're going with it? Like, I don't know if they might run across the
Yeah,
street,
tell-
so I
maybe
need
tell
to.
us.
Situation. I'm just trying to be real, like if
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
really in a situation that's
Yeah.
harmful to them.
Yeah. So one of my thoughts as you asked that question was just, so if I'm the mom in that situation, right, or someone that has influence or stewardship, then I get to set a boundary, right? Boundaries keep people safe. So maybe that's, you know what, we're going to get inside the car right now and deal with it there, because it's not safe. I need to be inside the car with the doors locked to know that we can have this conversation or go there or whatever. Or this isn't appropriate. Let's find some different healing and we move or shift or do something so we can get in a safe place and then go there, right? And then if it's outside of that, it's like we need more than just, there's prevention, there's intervention, and there's treatment, right? So we as just advocates, right? Mothers, advocates of wellness, we can play a prevention role and an intervention role. And a lot of times treatment is where we need to call on other support. Bigger guns, right? So I just say, measure that.
Good question. Are we good back there with online? Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions we have up here that you've been wanting to ask?
I think we're going to have an amazing convention.
We are.
With more layers of this amazing arena. And I think we also have a business training too.
Oh, we do. Does everyone have their name in our drawing? Okay. There's some tickets
right
over there.
here.
Yes, tell us about the Global Summit. I talked
Yes.
a little bit at the beginning, but tell us maybe how they get a deal, or are there promotions, or
Good question.
what are the deadlines?
Well, I was thinking we should put a little promotion on the Essential Emotions Facebook page.
Okay.
So we'll do that either today or Monday and have that promotion for you. But that training is going to be so powerful.
The Global Summit.
The Global Summit, which is Tuesday prior to convention. It's from 1 to 9 p.m. So just a short amount of time, but to be able to focus in on what you can do in your business, where you're at, to take it to the next level. So I'm excited for the answers, the ideas that are coming forward from just it's been amazing. So we're going to take, there's going to be a little section on belief levels and how to increase your belief so that you can increase in rank. And then just some great presidential diamonds have all come together in this effort. And so I feel like the people are making this event, and the messages that are coming from these people will be the perfect messages for what we need right now. You know how that always happens. So yes.
What if we want to invite someone that isn't at our rank? And I noticed on the registration that it said, you know, rank at whatever by August 31st. Can they just come with us to, is there going to be breakouts, I guess?
Yeah. So
So repeat the question for
the question is, what if I want to bring somebody and they're not at my rank, but we kind of want to be together that day, right? Well, I would say if you're at initial ranks, then that makes sense and it's not a problem. Maybe register them for the same rank that you're going to be in so they can be attending the same track and we can be planning that way, right? That's just intended to get people to where the information that they need so that they can transform. So if you're in those initial stages, that's awesome, and do that. If not, you know, you're going to be together for the first 3 hours, and then you could say, hey, go to your rank for a little bit, check it out. If you want to come back in here with me, feel free, you know. So, a couple options for you.
Great.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So, looking forward to that, and wherever you're at, getting what you need to go to the next level, you know? And it'll be fun, because convention's amazing. It's product pieces, it's inspiration. We're going to have doctors' panels, all the stuff we didn't get to have last year, we get to have this year. But this will be the time for that business support to help things go to the next level. So, watch the Essential Emotions page, and we'll put...
Join that Facebook group page. We put everything through that, any specials we're running, any training we're running.
And did you talk about the essentialemotions.org?
Yes,
Awesome.
the new website
Awesome.
coming out.
It's so easy to find, like, download this handout, So, great solution.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, all of you.
Thank
Should
you.
we
We're going to do a
do a little
handout
drawing?
and an invite.
Okay.
And our nice
Marcia.
Marcia.
Nice.
Okay, you get to be our first choice if you want to do a handout pack or invite here.
I'll do
The handout.
the handout.
Okay. That comes in packs of 20. They're sell here at Oil Life and Aroma Tools just downstairs. I think it's $12. So
Okay.
Thank you.
cheaper than printing your own.
Kayla.
Kayla, you get our invitation pack.
Those
All
cute
right.
faces.
I know.
I know.